In the 1997 film Boogie Nights, director Paul Thomas Anderson manipulates the passage of time within any given scene in a very interesting way. Boogie Nights is a film that is ripe with impressive long takes. The opening shot of the movie plays out over about 3 minutes and manages to give brief introductions to most of the key characters, some of whom don't return to screen for quite a long time. This saves them from needing full introductions when they do show back up. Another important long shot takes place at New Year's. William H. Macy's character Little Bill, fed up with his cheating wife, commits a murder-suicide. To have a quick sidebar, this scene is very reminiscent to a scene from Reservoir Dogs. Both films have a long take where a character is in a chaotic building where music plays loudly. Both characters exit the building, the quiet calmness of the exterior replacing the loud music and excitement of the interior. Both characters cross the street to retrieve a weapon from inside of their car, then travel back inside, rejoining the hectic auditory environment with the intent of committing an act of strong violence. But to get back to Little Bill's murder-suicide. This scene is built up over the course of multiple scenes throughout the movie, and when the actual event happens, it plays out over one long, uninterrupted take. The most obvious contrast to this lengthy scene is the brief wedding scene. The wedding is extremely quick. I do too. The actual wedding ceremony only lasts a total of 11 seconds. Even though a wedding is a huge and important life event, the film glosses right past it because the wedding is between two small, periphery characters. More screen time is paid to Buck's loan application for a stereo store. A much smaller event when compared objectively to a wedding, but a more important character moment that informs the story with its outcome. There's even a scene where Buck picks out donuts that is much longer than the wedding scene. The donut sequence leads into a robbery, which is a great scene and a pivotal moment for Buck, where he ends up with the money he needs to start a stereo business that he was turned down for when trying to get his loan.
Don't fucking move, man. I'm not. Shut the fuck up.
Hey, don't do that. No.
No. You shut the fuck up. Give me this shit. Oh!
This scene is very important, or rather just the robbery portion of the scene is very important at first glance. Since we know from the wedding scene that unimportant moments can be quickly sped through, why devote such a long amount of time to Buck picking out donuts?
Hey, what's up? Can I help you?
Yeah, I'm gonna get a dozen.
Alright.
You get a couple bear claws. Yeah. A couple blades. Oh, apple fritter. No, not that one. The one in front of. Yeah, that one.
Okay.
Oh yeah, two chocolate.
Chocolates.
Old fashioned. Yeah, give me 2 of those.
2 old-fashioned.
Oh, is this a? Did you do this for the Christmas?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cute. Yeah, give me 2 of those sprinkly Christmas things.
The reason is because there's actually a lot more happening in this scene than what might first come across. Before the robbery happens, the main purpose of the sequence where Buck picks out donuts is to establish the reality of the situation. The pre-robbery part of the scene is hyper-real, so that when the robbery starts, the violence is more effective. The donut selecting scene is slow and quiet, so that the rush of sound and violence that follows is amped up by comparison. For reference, while the wedding ceremony lasts only 11 seconds, the donut choosing scene before the robbery begins lasts 1 minute and 40 seconds, around 9 times longer. By thoroughly grounding the scene in reality at the beginning, this makes the stakes during the robbery feel more real and therefore more consequential. Another question to ask is, why start the scene in the car rather than start it with Buck already in the donut shop?
Okay. What do you want?
I want an apple fritter, jelly, chocolate with sprinkles, and a bear claw too.
Bear claw. Okay.
Yeah. Hurry.
Hey, how's my little kung fu fighter?
He's kicking ass inside my stomach.
See, that's a boy.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Die.
Yeah.
Die.
Yeah.
Be right back.
Okay.
We know that it must be important since the film has established that it will move quickly through unimportant moments. The beginning of the scene in the car does two things. The first being a raising of the stakes. There is a pregnant woman in the car. Even though the film doesn't cut back to her during the robbery, we know in the back of our minds that she is out there and that Buck wants to get back to her. She is an additional party to think about during the robbery and brief gunfire. This raises the overall tension of the scene. The other main purpose I see in starting the scene in the car is the slightest of misdirection. The scene opens with the woman telling Buck what kinds of donuts she wants, listing a few. Something interesting happens afterward with the scene, whether intentional or not. People are conditioned, if they've ever seen a film or read or heard any kind of traditional story before, to expect a purpose in any given scene. Audiences expect every scene to have some form of conflict. Before the robbery begins, we do not know what the purpose or conflict of this donut buying scene is. In that time before the robbery begins, our minds are trying to ascertain what the conflict in the scene could be, and her listing the types of donuts that she wants gives a possible conflict, however small. Before the robbery starts, your mind might guess that the conflict of the scene will be that he will buy the wrong donuts and that she will be upset. He does not seem to remember completely. But then the robbery happens and reveals the true conflict, made even more surprising by how long of a walk it was to get to the scene's actual intent. Whether this play on moviegoers' expectations was intentional or not, it makes the scene very impactful. Thinking more about this sequence, it became one of my favorite scenes in the movie.